What's up, everybody? This is Coach MJ, the coaching connoisseur, and I want to welcome you to the first in our new series, our new training format, which will be a lunch and learn format. Just want to let you know that most days when I come to you with these trainings going forward, I will be coming to you at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is lunchtime here on the East Coast. Now, I want to apologize to my people on Central, Mountain, and Pacific Time because I know that that's not necessarily lunchtime for you, but for those of us on this end of the country, it will be lunchtime. And the great thing about a lunch and learn is that you can double up your efforts. You can be sitting there eating your lunch, grabbing your salad, your sandwich, whatever it is you are having midday, and also be learning the things that you need to do so that you can get yourself free, so that you can take lunch whenever you want to take lunch, and so that you can be wherever you want to be, doing what you want to do as you are able to build wealth and grow your business. So this is our new format. This is going to be our time. So if you are able to set aside some time on your calendar to join me, I'm not sure if it'll be every day yet, still working out some of the details, but I will be scheduling the lives. And so you'll see those notifications and you'll know that you can put it on your calendar, that you can have lunch with Coach MJ and get the edge that you need to move your business forward. So let's get into today's topic. Today, as you can see on the screen, we're going to be talking about why one-on-one is killing your business. And even if you're saying, well, Coach MJ, I don't even have a business yet. You know what? That's even better, because if you have not started some of these habits that are hurting your business, then it's great. You can start off on the right foot from the get-go. But if you have been trying to build a business, a coaching business, or maybe you do consulting or even counseling, anything of that nature, and you've been doing one-on-one, you will definitely want to tune into this training, because we're going to talk about why that approach, even though conventional wisdom says that it is the greatest approach to get people the results and to make the best impact, it's actually one of the worst strategies out there for helping people. And this, again, will apply to people who are in the coaching space, which is what I focus on. But also, if you are maybe you're a therapist, maybe you do counseling, consulting, whatever, we're going to talk about why that is hurting your business and hurting your chances of being able to create the very freedom that you wanted when you started your business to begin with. Most people, and I would dare say all people who start a business, started so that they can be in control and so that they can buy back their time and be able to do more of the things they want to do, not because they want to just own a job. But a lot of times, especially with solopreneurs, but even with some entrepreneurs that have a small team, it can end up still being a job that you own, or even worse, a job that owns you when you start a business. And specifically what we're talking about today is what I mean by one-on-one, let me kind of level set. One-on-one is just simply meaning it's you and the client, you and the customer, one-on-one. People usually are charging by the hour when they do this. Like I said, therapists and counselors often use this approach. And I'm not saying that one-on-one has no place in that type of business. There are certainly times when you would want to be just with the individual that you are working with. But a lot of times people do that because they don't know that there's another way that they can get the same outcomes or even better outcomes with their clients while still freeing up their time. So they think, I've got to meet one-on-one with each of my clients. And there's a bunch of reasons why that hurts you. And that's what we're going to get into now. And then we're going to talk about at the end. Stay tuned for the end, because there's always something better at the end, because I don't just like to point out what's wrong with what you're doing. I want to show you what's a better way. Okay. Not in any particular order. The first reason why one-on-one is killing your business is that, quite frankly, one-on-one is not scalable for the reasons we just described. There's only a certain number of hours that you can work. I heard a therapist or a counselor or somebody of that nature speaking recently, and there's like, I'm about to get to work and I'm going to be from 12 to 9 or whatever the time was. I have clients every hour on the hour for 9 hours. And I got exhausted just hearing them say that, because that must be, and actually that's going to be another reason we're going to talk about, but that must be exhausting, but also that's limiting, because if that individual is not able to work those 9 hours and see those 9 people, or if somebody decides not to show up, or the therapist themselves has an emergency and they have to leave, they aren't able to work and earn that $200 an hour or whatever it is that they charge for that. And the bottom line is, you cannot, as a human being, work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. you will get broken down very fast. As a matter of fact, you just can't do it. You will fall asleep after the first day, right? And so it's not scalable. That means you are limited by how much money you can make, the same as you are at a job. A job tells you we're going to pay you 40 hours a week, 52 weeks out of the year. You can, right there, you already know that your income is fixed. It's always interesting when we hear people talk about elderly people on Social Security being on a fixed income. And they're talking about the fact that all they're going to have going forward for the rest of their life is Social Security. But the thing is, if you don't have a plan to be able to increase your income in some kind of way, something that's scalable to grow beyond your ability to trade hours for dollars, your income in the job world is just as fixed as that individual on Social Security. It's just that they know it and you don't really realize it. And so you are staying there thinking that somehow your income is variable, but it's not. It's fixed based on the number of hours. You cannot scale an hours for dollars model. The other thing is, when you get to the place where you're like, well, I want to make more money, there's only so much money that the market is going to pay you for your time. Oh, I just did something. What did I do to my, I went full screen. There's only so much that the market is going to pay you for your time. Like most therapists cannot charge $2,000 an hour or $5,000 an hour. Now there are coaches and people in the space that we're going to be talking about today who can charge $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 if they want to pay for an hour, somebody to pay for an hour of their time. They usually don't do that because of what we're going to be talking about today. But there's only so much a person is going to pay for an hour of your time. There's like this sometimes unspoken rule about therapists make about this much in this part of the country and all that. So you're still limited. It's only so high you can go with the hours for dollars model, because the number of hours is limited, and the amount that someone's going to pay you for what you do when they're thinking about what your hours are worth is limited, right? Most people think about their time and what it's worth, and other people's time and what it's worth based on what they make. Right. So if you got a person that makes $25 an hour and you holler out, I charge $500, are they going to feel a type of way about it? And they're going to decide whether it's worth it or not. That's why a lot of people resent lawyers, because that's one of the groups that does charge hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars just for an hour of their time sometimes. And so people are like, they ain't even worth it. I mean, I know I need their help and they know I can't go anywhere else, but that's not that. Why should they make that much? There's a sense of resentment about paying somebody by the hour, and that's why you shouldn't be doing it. But that one-on-one model is usually based on hours for dollars, and that's why it's killing your business. The other thing, and I alluded to it a moment ago, it's physically and mentally exhausting to spend 7 or 8 hours a day engaging with people individually. A lot of times you're saying the same things over and over, especially if you're a counselor. Think about it. When you get a new client, do you not have them go through some of the same things that you do with all the other new clients, right? A lot of times you're saying the same pieces of advice and telling them the same things and giving them the same instructions, because quite frankly, your magic is unique to you. So the way you have your customers solve their problems is unique, and you have a system, you have a program, you have whatever it is you have them all go through, even personal trainers. Most of the time when you work with a person, sure, each person has individualities, but the bottom line is you probably change their diet, and you probably have a certain type of diet or sets of diets that you have them do, certain types of exercises that you prefer, that you have found to be most beneficial, things of that nature. And you're repeating yourself over and over, and I think of the mental and emotional exhaustion of talking to people one-on-one. I am on the introverted side of being an ambivert, which means I can engage with people, but for the most part, it is somewhat exhausting for me. And the idea of sitting 7 to 8, 9 hours a day, talking to all these different people, all those different energies, is crazy for me. And even for people who are extroverts, who enjoy the energy of other people, it's still physically and mentally exhausting to know you've got to do that grind day in and day out, even if you don't feel like it, if you want to make the money you want to make. And let's not forget that you're in business for yourself. And so there's only so many hours you can spend one-on-one, because you also have to do the back office unless you're large enough to have a team. And most solopreneurs and entrepreneurs can't really get to that place where they're not doing some of their back office work, because their income is not scalable for the reasons we're talking about today. But the physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion of just having to set up over and over. And we're talking about hour after hour. So if you meet with somebody for 50 minutes, 50, and you have 10 minutes to either make your notes or do whatever. And I'm kind of thinking about counselors right now, but this really applies to coaches as well who use the one-on-one model. You got to get ready. You got to, download what you had from that client and get ready to upload for the next client. And it's just hour after hour. And when you don't do it, you don't make money. And then after the hourly appointments, then you got to go in the back office and do all that other great stuff that entrepreneurs must do to keep their business legitimate and afloat. It's exhausting because, again, you're repeating the same effort over and over, time and time again. Even with the little tweaks that apply to an individual, most of it is a rinse and repeat. If you really sit down honestly and think about the things that you do and say with your customers, that one-on-one is a killer. The next reason why one-on-one kills your business is, quite frankly, because of what we've described. You are disincentivized or demotivated from growing your business because you realize when you grow, that means more time away from your family, more time of having to work. Because I've seen doctors even frustrated with this, because they see patients one-on-one for various reasons. And there's only so high they can jack their prices up, because usually insurance companies put a cap on how much they're going to pay for certain services. So they realize the only way to scale their income, because they can't keep raising there is no way for them to scale their income, because they can't keep raising their prices, but so high for their medical care. And again, there's only so many hours in the day. And so when someone thinks about growing their practice, growing their business, they're just like, never mind. But what they are saying when they say never mind is that means I can't improve my financial situation. That means I can't eliminate this debt faster. That means I can't have the lifestyle I want to and go on vacation when I want to and still impact the lives that I want to impact. Because you want to be a coach or you want to be a counselor, whatever that is, because you want to help people, but you also do it because you want to help yourself. It's not all altruistic and noble why you want to do this. You want to do this to create a fortune, to create wealth for yourself so you can help more people. I always think about my people who, and this is kind of a side note, but I always think about my people out there who balk at the idea of getting rich off their business. I don't really want to, and a lot of times this happens with my super religious folk. I'm going to step on some toes, but it's okay. Say amen or say ouch. But we think that there's something magnanimous about poverty or saying, I don't want to get rich, I just want to help people. But you can imagine how many more people you could help if you got rich. See, everything costs money, whether it's ministry or not, whether it's helping people or not, and you can't do it broke. So if for no other reason, build a fortune, build wealth, become rich so that you can help more of the people that you want to help. And quite frankly, you need to help yourself first. You need to put your oxygen mask on, so to speak, before you can put it on somebody else. So again, make sure you're being super honest with yourself when you talk about your goals for your business, because it's not all about, I just want to help people. I don't mind. I don't care if I make money. Yes, you do. Because if you don't make money, you won't be able to help them, because you'll be back staying at a job, working for somebody else and not moving forward in your purpose. Okay, I'm off my soapbox, okay? But it disincentivizes you from growing when you know that the only thing that you have to offer to grow is more of your time, more of your energy. And you can't do it. So now your business stays small because you don't have a model that works. This is all one-on-one that we're talking about. One-on-one coaching, counseling, whatever it is that you do. And this applies. Let me kind of go back, and I should have said this at first. When I say coaching, a lot of times people envision a certain thing like a life coach, but really anybody can be a coach. A beautician can be a coach. A fashion stylist can be a coach. Somebody that knows how to build things can be a coach. Anybody who has a skill set or an expertise can coach other people. That just means that you are training and helping them to get an outcome that they want within a certain amount of time. That's all coaching is. So technically a teacher is a coach. A tutor is a coach. Anybody who can help somebody else to discover something that they've not been able to discover and bring on a new skill set or get a new outcome or result is a coach. So just remember that. I'm not talking about life coaching only. I'm talking about any expertise that you have, you can turn it into a lucrative coaching business if you know how. Okay. The last reason that one-on-one coaching is killing your business is that with a certain type of client, and it's usually a lot of them, when you really peel back the layers and look at it honestly, it actually can cripple them because it makes them dependent on you to get them the result instead of their own efforts, because they're convinced that working with you one-on-one is the magic. I got all their time. They're working with me one-on-one, and they're sitting there looking at you, showing up for every session, not doing what you told them to do, asking you, so what's up? What do we do next? Making it a we. It's a we as far as you showing them the way, but it requires their efforts to move them forward. You can't guarantee results from anybody unless you can force them to do something. And you can't force your clients to do anything. So you can't guarantee results because you can't guarantee how they show up. But with that one-on-one model, you tend to get more of the people who are super dependent. If you ever wonder why it takes, you've been working with a person for months and months and years, and they're still stuck. And maybe deep down, you're not sorry about that because, again, you're still getting the money by the hour. See, we're debunking myths and we're getting to the truth here, okay? Again, say amen or say ouch. Why it's months and months and years to get to, and they still aren't there. And then other people are able to get over their problems and their issues within a short amount of time. These clients that you're seeing one-on-one, a lot of them are crippled by the fact that you meet with them one-on-one because they think me just going and sitting with them for an hour, them being you, is somehow what's going to get them the result, as opposed to them leaning in and doing the things, opening up and being susceptible to new ideas and implementing the things. One-on-one tends to breed dependence on the expert as opposed to dependence on their own efforts. So we've talked about why one-on-one is not great. And again, there are times within a better leveraged approach where one-on-one might be appropriate, but it's on the one-offs and it's in small amounts of time. It's not the entire interaction with your client. So what is better than one-on-one? If working with an individual one-on-one is not the move, what is? And it's what we refer to as one-to-many, which means you are the one and you send your greatness, your magic out to the masses, whoever the masses are, and that's the people in your tribe, the people who need what you have. You have a problem that you solve, right? You're not just passing out information. You have a problem that you solve. And instead of spreading it one-on-one, you spread it to a lot of people at the same time. And it's usually referred to as group coaching. And there's a lot of different ways that can happen. There's challenges, there's programs, there's speaking from stage. There's all these different ways that you can use one-to-many. So I'm not going to define, I might do that in a different video, all the different ways that you can use the one-to-many approach. But what the benefit of one-to-many is, first off, and this is my favorite reason, is that you buy back your time. Time is your most valuable resource. It's much more valuable than money. If I could pay money to buy back more of my time, I'll do it every single time. I have spent tens of thousands of dollars to buy back my time, and it was worth every penny. But you can buy back your time because you're leveraging technology and other resources to replicate your efforts across a group, across the masses. So you're freed up to what? Find better ways and more opportunities to do business on a larger scale. And you're also freed up to enjoy your life more. Your time, you have got to know that it is a lie that time is money. Or I won't say it's a lie. Lie kind of sounds rough, but it is not true. It is a misunderstanding, a misnomer that time is money. Time is not money. Time is more valuable than money because you can always make more money. You cannot make more time. From the moment you sucked your first breath as a baby, you are running out of time. You didn't know it, but you probably know it now. If you're in the stage of life that I'm in, late 20s. Okay, I'm not in my late 20s. I'm in my 40s, but still, if you're in this stage of life, you know time is running out. You've already worked in your career probably 25, 30 years, and you've already been, what's the word? You're kind of jaded because you realize that what they sold you, maybe going to college and getting a job and ended up not even making half of what you owe in student loans every year at your job. Or, maybe you started some business, but you didn't know what you were doing and you lost a lot of money and you're still stuck. You're back working for somebody else. Whatever it is, you're probably jaded right now. You're probably demotivated. You're probably frustrated and discouraged, right? And you know that time's not on your side. You could live the same number of years you've already lived. Again, like I'm planning to live the life I've already lived. I'm going to double that and live into my 90s. But you don't know how much time you have. And quite frankly, you want to be enjoying your life right now. And so anything you can do to buy back your time and create freedom for yourself, and having money does that because it gives you options. That's what you're going to want to do. And so having a one-to-many approach, let's say you've got 30 clients on your roster that you're working with. If you could find a way to work with all 30 of them in an hour every week, instead of spending 30 hours a week working with them one-on-one, you would do that, right? Nod your head and say yes. Blink your eyes and say yes, right? 30 people dealing with them in a 1-hour session versus dealing with them over the course of 30 hours is much better. I know what you're saying, MJ. My people need to talk to me one-on-one. They can't get results that way. I'm telling you, sis, they can. I'm telling you that they can. They don't really need you for the whole hour, right? Here's what also happens in the one-to-many. They learn from each other. What? Get out of here. People learn from each other. They learn from hearing each other's questions and hearing each other's observations. Remember when you were in school, maybe you're still in school, and somebody would raise their hand and ask a question, and people would groan like, oh goodness, here she goes again. Here he goes again asking questions. There's always that one. But then they ask a question and the teacher answers it, and you're like, I didn't even know we needed to know that. Or somebody gives an idea, or they give a different spin on it. Maybe they go up to the board and they work the problem. And the way the teacher did it, you wasn't getting it. But the way your classmate did it, you was like, yeah, I have that. You learned from that. You didn't just learn from the teacher. That's why people have study groups when you're in college and when you're in high school. If you're really smart, you have study groups. You're learning from each other. You don't need the teacher all the time. You don't need the teacher most of the time. They really should be at the starting gate to start you on your path to learning. And that's what happens with one-to-many, is your students, your clients, your customers learn from each other because they hear each other's questions. They hear each other's observations. They also, here's another reason why they get results in the one-to-many. They are challenged and encouraged by witnessing each other's progress, especially for super competitive folk, but even for folk that aren't competitive naturally. When they see other people moving on and sharing their progress, they're like, well, me too. Don't leave me behind. That's just the herd mentality. Everybody wants to move with the group. Nobody wants to be left behind. But when you're sitting in that office or on that conference call by themselves with the person, they don't know what everybody else is doing. And so they kind of can be lulled into a false sense of security that they are making progress. They can convince themselves that everything's fine. And you can't really prove to them differently. You might be able to allude to other clients are doing this or that, but it's something about being able to see it being done. It's something about being able to know it's done because you've built a camaraderie with these people and you see they're moving on. You're like, no, not me. Okay, I'm going to do it too. That's the way it is. Little kids, they have that same experience. When they see other kids doing something, they want to do it too. That's why when you put your kid in daycare and they were still using diapers at home, within a matter of a week, they're potty trained because they see all the other kids sitting on the pot. The same thing is true of that's one-to-many. That's what it is. You got one teacher teaching one message. We go to the potty. And all the kids do it, right? They are challenged and encouraged by witnessing each other's progress when you do one-to-many, and they support each other peer to peer. Guess what? When your session ends and you're doing one-to-one, that's the end of their engagement with what you're teaching them, unless they are super motivated to do it. But when you have one-to-many and they can network and supporting each other, that's what reduces their dependence on you to do what? Get them the results, because they can get their own results while you're asleep, while you're on the beach, while you're out shopping in Dubai, while you're out here in Jamaica listening to reggae music, while you're doing whatever the things are you want to do in the world, instead of being strapped to all these conference calls, all these one-on-ones with people coming in the office. They get their own help. Right? They support each other peer to peer. Again, the teacher is at the starting gate. The teacher shouldn't be holding your hand all the way. And indeed, in college, your professors weren't with you day and night. They met with you for less than an hour for that class, and that was it. You might have met with them for office hours, youth hours too, but it wasn't all the time. You didn't meet with them every day of the week, all day long. Of course not. You had study groups. You got a tutor. You went online. You read your textbook. You got your own help. Think about it. You can do what the professors are doing. Same thing with your doctor. They see you, if you're lucky, for 15 minutes in the office. Everything they tell you to do, you better do it, or you're going to come back with the same outcome as what you had at the last visit. They don't call you every day. They're not meeting with you every week. Or if they do, you're going to pay a pretty penny for that. Most doctors don't do that. See what I'm talking about? These coaches out here selling time for money, or selling time for money. You're hurting yourself. Nobody else. Well, I'm not gonna say nobody else is doing that, but in a lot of other models, a lot of other industries, they're not doing that, and you shouldn't be doing it either. But you probably don't know how to create the one to many, and that's why I'm gonna give you an opportunity here in a minute at the end. The other reason that one to many is so much more amazing and awesome is that we kind of talked about it already, but it maximizes them getting the results, because you're not just passing out information and just crossing your fingers hoping they do what you say. You actually tell them what to do, and they do it, because you have time to invest in how to get them the result. And the thing is, people will invest much more in solutions to problems than in collecting information. Think about it. Would you pay $8,000 for a book about getting in shape? Probably not. But would you spend that kind of money if somebody could tell you exactly everything you need to know? And you know for a fact, if you do these things, if you do the work, because you're the client in this example, that you will get the result. Again, they can't guarantee you anything. Anybody out here giving guarantees, they're crazy, because they don't know what you're going to do when they go home or when you go home. But would you spend that to know you could buy back the rest of your life? You could buy back your health. You could buy back not dying early from lifestyle diseases like heart disease and diabetes and all these things. Would you spend $8,000 on that? You would. Nod your head and say yes. Why? Because you're spending more than that on medication. You're spending more than that on doctor visits, just your copays, meeting deductibles. Most families have to meet more than $8,000 in their deductible every year. So yes, an intelligent woman like you, come on, sister, you would spend $8,000 on a solution. And that is why, but you wouldn't spend it on information in a book or a website. The same is true of you. Whatever problem it is that you can solve for people, you're not just giving them information, but you're giving them a system, step-by-step instruction, support, guidance to get to their result. Oh, they'll spend big money with you, because in the grand scheme of what they're experiencing in their life, it's nothing. Buying somebody back their life, fixing somebody's relationships, helping them get their finances together, because those are the big three: relationships, health, and finances. Let me tell you something. People will invest in solutions in those things. And that's another reason why one to many is great. You can be charging a premium price for your magic, not parsing it out at $100 or $200 an hour. That's nothing. You can be charging $3, $5, $10 or more $1,000 for your result, the result you help them to get, right? And so what does that do for you? It helps you to build wealth. It helps you to create that legacy. It gives you the freedom to travel the world and live the way you want to live, buy the things you want to buy, give the way you want to give, help more people. Because while you broke, you can't help anybody else out of their situation, because all you doing is in survival mode. You got to get out of survival mode so that you can get into thrival mode, as I call it, right? Start thriving. And when you do that, then you can help more people. So we've talked about one-to-one, and we've talked about one-to-many. So your natural question is, okay, MJ, I got you. One-to-one's killing my business. What do I need to do? Let me tell you something. Remember how I always tell you guys, if you listen to my broadcast lately, everybody's an expert. All you sisters, you are an expert in something. You may not know what it is. You may think, I just have this skill set. I'm an accountant. I can't even think. I don't even have any other examples. Whatever it is that you do, and you don't know how to frame what you do in terms of the solutions that you help people to provide or to receive, or you may know that you get solutions for your employer, but you don't know how to reframe what you do to see how you could get results for clients out here in the marketplace. Because guess what? Your employer is only going to pay you so much an hour. You want to move into the space where you can be charged, or you can charge by the results you help people get, but maybe you don't know how to frame what you do in terms of something the marketplace wants to pay for. And that's important. You need to know how to do that. You may not know how to reach them or find them, message them in such a way where they come beating down your doors begging to work with you, but they will when you figure that out. You may not know how to do any of those things, but you want to create the wealth and abundance that's going to allow you to live different, to move different, and to impact the world on a greater scale. And so I invite you to my upcoming Build Wealth While You Travel challenge. Join the challenge today at buildwealthwhileyoutravel.com. I have one coming up here on the 25th. Ma'am, you do not want to miss this. It's 4 days, not 4 full days. It's 4 brief parts of a day where you will get everything you need to know to get you from the idea, the skill set that you have, all the way down to knowing exactly how to reach your clients and how to serve them so that they get those results we've been talking about. It is so important to get people results. And some coaches are out here telling people, some of these gurus, some of big names where I can name them and you would recognize their names, but I'm not going to do that. Will tell you, don't worry about getting results. Just, get them in there, sell them something, get them in there. No, you can get people results. And what's that going to do? That's going to make your value higher than all these bottom feeders out here that are just out here selling information and just selling a bunch of hype. You want to be able to not just have hype. You want to actually get your clients to where they are super glad the day they clicked on your link or stepped into your program or engaged with you in whatever it is that you do. But you got to learn how to put it all together in a coaching universe that's going to set you free. And that's what we're going to be doing in the 4-day Build Wealth While You Travel challenge. It starts next week. And I want you to get in there. And it's actually free. It is free. Now, there's a VIP upgrade that my pro tip is get the VIP upgrade, right? You're going to get double the exposure, double the access to me, double the information, double the opportunity. And the thing is, when you're trying to take your life to the next level, you're talking about building a 6 or 7 figure business. You have to be willing to invest to do that. Nobody's building anything legal or moral major business without investing. All these businesses that you look up to, all these business owners, they had to put themselves on the line, their money. Some of them mortgaged their home. Some of them pulled money out of retirement. Some of them did a lot of things to get to where they are. So don't think it was a free ride. And if you want to get there, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. So I'm advising you to get the VIP ticket. But let's say you don't want to do that. There's a basic ticket that's free. Just get over there, grab your seat. Do it now before you talk yourself out of it. Don't say you'll do it later. You're going to do it right now while you're still watching this Lunch and Learn. BuildWealthWhileYouTravel.com. That's the website you need to go to get your ticket. I'm excited about helping you to figure out what it is that you have that's worth 3, 5, 10, 25, however many thousands of dollars to get a result for a client. And you need to know that so that you can build wealth, so you can travel the world and live the life of your dreams. So again, go out there now and get your ticket. BuildWealthWhileYouTravel.com. We're going to cap it at 100 seats. So I want to make sure that you get your seat. Don't procrastinate. Don't put it off. You've already lost out on so much. You've already given your employer so much and made them rich. It's time for you to get rich so you can really impact the world with your message, with your magic. So BuildWealthWhileYouTravel.com. Get over there and get your seat reserved right now. My advice is to go VIP, but even if you don't, I look forward to meeting you at our next challenge. It's coming up in a few days. Meanwhile, I'll be back for our next Lunch and Learn. I hope you'll join me at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, have a blessed and magnificent day. Talk to you soon.